Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the PCS for the last time here tonight. We are on the penultimate day of the regular season of 2022 Spring. My name's Cicerix. I am joined by Nightstar. Quick reminder, CDBC Bank and Caliber are our official sponsors, and we want to thank Carry Live, Garena, and Riot Games for our official production of the English broadcast and the league operation for the PCS as well. Nightstar, in our final game of the night, we have our World's 2021 teams going up against each other.
Yeah, and last time we saw them, it was the first game of the split.
Yes.
New look BYG taking on new look PSG, and it was Beyond Gaming that took that one in somewhat surprising fashion. But then it was a bit of a rocky rest of that start of for Beyond Gaming, and it was really just a lot of flowers and sunshine for PSG. Although they did drop that latest game against CFO, we need to see if BYG can replicate either the CFO game or just their first game of the split.
Well, that's right, because, for Beyond Gaming starting on their side, Beyond Gaming have been, here and there, like a slow start to the split, as they lost to MFT, they lost to DCG. There's games that they shouldn't have lost that were like, hang on a minute. Why are BYG consistently losing against J-Team and DCG? Aren't they meant to be a top team in the league? But we've talked a lot about Minji and players, like Minji coming through and Wako as well on this roster, and kind of comparing them to Split's past, where we're wondering, are they an upgrade? Are Beyond Gaming going to be the same caliber as they were last year?
Yeah, and for the most part, it's been Beyond Gaming trying to find their identity with these different players.
Yep.
Although, if you look at the stats, it's like Beyond Gaming, they are an insanely good laning team. They are so lane dominant. They get first tower more often than not. They get first blood more often than not and tend to snowball around those advantages, yet they still end up with the longest game time as well, which means that something's not quite clicking in the mid game, and really it's about that coordination. They get a lot of lane advantages, they just don't know what to do with those.
So let's talk a little bit about PSG talent, because they're leading the league right now. If anyone hasn't tuned into the PCS, this team is 14-2. They have secured top 2, which in the PCS, in the double elimination format, when 8 teams go to playoffs, PSG will be in the second round, and they have a chance if they lose out to whoever faces them. So it is a really good position for PSG to be in, but a win here as well, they would get to 15. And I'm looking across, no one can get to 15. No one at the moment. It looks like, no one can get past 14. So PSG would secure first and be the best PCS team towards the regular split. And as we look towards our matchup, Liang versus Hanabi, this is exciting for me because we have very different angles, very different play styles to look at here, Nightstar.
Yeah, for Hanabi, it's been getting the blind pick Gnar, playing more a weak side, and then just being stronger in team fights, being that utility player to either frontline or bring these big team fight ultimates like a Gangplank ult, like a Gragas ult, or that Gnar ultimate. So look for those picks to be the key for Hanabi, but at the same time for Liang, he's been just absolutely dominating up top side with the Graves, with the Jace, and with the Tryndamere. Tryndamere is pretty much a must ban in PCS, and in particular against Liang.
It's crazy. You guys are so big on Tryndamere here. You're right, a must ban, and if PSG didn't ban it here when Liang has been a monster on it, wouldn't make much sense. So welcome to Pick and Ban for our final game of the night for what I would call probably one of the matches of the week. PSG is so dominant at the moment, and a win here would cement their legacy for this split. Again, making the best team of the regular season. That Tryndamere ban we talked about, that is off the table straight away.
Tryndamere taking off. And BYG, if they are able to win out, they would put their name in the hat to try and make a push for that second seed. At the very least, guaranteed themselves a tiebreak situation for the third seed.
Yep.
And the last ban will be the Zeri. So making sure Wako doesn't get that for himself, and it looks like priority is going to be the Ari pick. Bay, he's tend to drift towards this pick once that rise has come off the table, because it also helps facilitate these roams, and perhaps PSG will look towards the Galio that we've seen being a big priority for a lot of these other PCS squads.
Especially tonight, Galio has just always been there, so let's see if it comes through. I want to note that for BYG, the reason that you see an Ari first pick is that Minji's most played. 7 games played. He has 6 out of 7 of those games as a win with an 11 KDA. It's a very big champion here on the new addition to BYG. As for PSG, we've got a Vex going up against it, so Bay wants to match the dashes with someone who can react well.
A very early Vex locked in, and man, these picks are coming in so fast. For PSG, the Vex offers a little bit more team fight presence versus a lot more pick and solo potential coming in from the Ari, and BYG locking in the Kai'Sa so early as well is interesting, because we don't tend to see Kai'Sa be banned out in the second phase, and PSG will round out their first phase with the Lee Sin. So pretty balanced all around coming in from both of these squads, but I would say PSG, it feels like they're going to be a little bit more comfortable with this draft.
Yeah, I mean, Juhan on the Lee Sin, once again, another champion that Hoosh has been big on, but Juhan's second most played here. It's all about comfort, it seems, here as we go to the second ban phase. We're going pretty fast, so I want to keep up here, because it feels like there is a lot of targeting now in the bottom lane. A Kaiwing support pool, it's quite open. We know Kaiwing is someone who's been great at the Rakan. The Leona, the split, has been his best champion, 5-0 on it for a good reason, with a 35 KDA. I wonder if Beyond Gaming decide to take that away from him, as red side first pick could just be the support to get a counter up in that top side for Hanabi.
Yeah, they are lacking a little bit of front line, and I mean, you could go for some sort of blinds pick, Scion or Gragas in this situation, and save counter pick for your support, but you already kind of know what this backline is going to be from Beyond Gaming, so you're not holding necessarily for something like a Renata in that case. So I like the fact that they go ahead, lock in the support pick, save the counter pick for Hanabi, at least get him a better matchup, because now it removes a lot of possibilities for Liang, because he doesn't know the matchup.
Ooh, okay, so we get the Graves here. I was a little bit skeptical of the top lane matchup there. Haven't seen an Akshan in quite a while. We get the Nautilus, so standard support matchup. Now, Hanabi has his choice, but we did talk about him playing weak side. He is kind of just someone who, you know, has to pursue the laning phase at his own regard. That's why the GP banned away.
Ooh.
Interesting to see the Gwen make it all the way through. We saw Gwen stage 1 bans earlier tonight.
Yes.
But hasn't actually been picked up. And for Hanabi, there we go, would have AP solo laners for PSG.
I completely forgot the existence of Gwen. Gwen is immune to my memory, apparently.
Yeah.
And I mean, this Gwen pick potentially gets a lot of value, right? Because this backline, very, very vulnerable to something like a Gwen, and there's no way to peel off this champion once it's on top of you. So Hanabi could be in for a massive game, and it really just comes down to how does Husha and Juhan interact with these laners. For the most part, Juhan's been kind of put on duty to just try and keep track of the other jungler, make sure he doesn't get to influence his lanes, and that goes the same way for Husha as well, because he knows his lanes are so good. As long as the jungler doesn't gank him, we kind of win naturally. So I'm interested to see the chess match between these two junglers.
Yeah, because again, like coming into today, there was a focus up on top lane. There was a focus on the different stylistic matchup that top lane is, but jungle's been so important for PSG Talon, especially since we remember that River was the core carrier, or a core member, I should say, of previous PSG Talon. Juhan and Bay have come in to replace two, you know, very big members in the previous Worlds lineup. And for PSG, they still stand strong. They still have one of the most kick-ass bottom lanes in the league. And that's why I'm more interested in this one as we go into our final game of the night. It's Talon versus Beyond Gaming. PSG sitting at the top. All they need is a win to guarantee first. But for Beyond Gaming, they got tiebreakers to play if they can pull a win out of this hat. And, you know, running on through, we have pretty standard League of Legends coming across. But I'll also be interested to see how Bay versus Minji go, considering that they are two new additions, replacing previous world contenders on the roster before.
Kino actually invading very early on, and Bay could get picked off here.
Oh, Charm, he dodges it though, but still gonna die. Despite the gloom, it looks like doom comes for PSG in the early game.
Ooh, great pick-off coming in from BYG. This is something they have exhibited for themselves in the later stages of our splits, is the fact that they've been able to set up around these level 1s. No other teams really kind of sitting in bushes looking to try and get picks, whereas for Beyond, they've been very aggressive and forward, whether it's going in for late invades together or just waiting in a bush, waiting for someone to try and ward out here. And that's a great punish. They've watched Bay put that ward down numerous times on VODs, and you shouldn't be able to get away with it, but Bay has for the majority of the split.
I mean, again, punishing that greed, a nice start here. First blood goes over to Husha here on the Viego, and we just watched a Sem9 game where the Viego was pretty crucial to how they got to transition into mid. So, nice start here, especially when I didn't get to ask you too much about how these comps run. Nightstar, I want you to give me a bit of a lowdown on how Beyond Gaming want to operate, especially with an early jungle lead.
Now, with this jungle lead, I really hope that they're able to try and get some invades towards this top half of the map, shoo Juhan out of his jungle, at least for that half of his jungle, because of the amount of push you can get with Ahri and Graves, especially the Graves. And if you're able to really section off that part of the jungle for yourself, this Graves becomes all the more scarier. And for the side of PSG, I really want them to see play around this bottom lane, but Kino making his first roam.
I'm not sure if he was spotted out. I guess the answer's no. Bay, Dredgeline dodged away, but he's getting bullied in this early game. Kino with a nice roam. A good trade from Bay, but there's not much else to say. I like that they're constantly focusing mid when, you know, Minji has been one of the weak points of Beyond Gaming.
Yeah, Minji has struggled at times, and Bay also has been one of those members that has played almost overly safe. But at the same time, he knows he's not the main carry when it comes to their players. He's really more of that second, even tertiary carry for the squad because of how good Unified and Hanabi have been. And I mean, they're also being given these big ticket carries, so look for them to be the forefront and highlights of these first couple team fights.
I mean, it's because they've already got a 10 CS lead, and that's why Unified again, laning phase going well. Wako decided early on that he wanted to play this Kai'Sa, and this is something we've seen tonight quite a lot here in the PCS. This Kai'Sa has been pretty big with the AP builds, and we're going to have to watch and see what Wako does to the team, because with the AP threat of Minji, but we know the standard play for PCS Kai'Sas again tonight. Juhan moving to the priority lane, but look how deep it's pushed in. Kaiwing and Unified have the wave right up at the turret, and that's not changing anytime soon.
Yeah, Juhan recalling there just to make sure if anything does happen, it would happen very soon against his bottom lane. And right after should be them either looking for a reset here or getting wards down to continue to lane. But as it stands now, looks like they're trying to figure out what they want to do. The big thing here is, again, Kai'Sa, her lane phase, not the strong point. Even with the Nautilus, who is known for, you know, trying to get kills in the lane, that's not going to happen, especially when you are running a cleanse as well. So it's all about the scaling here for Wako.
Well, as another lane pushes in, it's a good time here for Unified and Carwing to back away, but maybe not. Thinking twice. Maybe that's what they want them to think. It's huge 5-head play. Outthinking your opponent. As Kino, yeah, he actually did back away, so a 2v1 in the bottom lane for the time being, while Juhan is looking for prey. This jungler finding an angle towards mid, but Minji and Husha already stacking together to try and get some vision.
Yeah, it's about controlling that top half, right, for the side of BYG, and it looks like they are going to get knowledge that Juhan, or where Juhan is, and Juhan had a temporary level lead, but that gets evened up pretty quickly. So as things stand, BYG playing exactly to their strengths, and for PSG, you know,
okay,
just okay.
Yeah, nice ulti comes through. I mean, Juhan's here to counterplay, but Husha close to level 6. I wonder what that XP bar is. Yeah, again, you know, we talked a lot about Liang versus Hanabi. Juhan versus Husha, how their influence comes through. Now, Husha just waiting for Hanabi to overstay, but he now has the needlework, that outplay button available with Liang without his ulti.
Yeah, Liang not having his ult to get that extra execution damage to finish off a quick burst means that it will be pretty difficult to finish off Hanabi in that dive if they were to look at it, and Liang gets a little bit greedy for that, but Juhan only level 5, so can't get a kill, even with the flash.
No, not yet. But look, again, bot, we just keep bringing the camera down here. Unified and Kaiwing for the 2v2, but the ward spots them out. Kino and Wako have full knowledge of this. It is purely a 2v2 with no jungle influence nearby. Kind of laughing at this one as well. I just love how patient they're being. All right, step out of the brush. And the CS continues. So a pretty slow early game. Again, we're not too surprised, right? Beyond Gaming, a slow team. We know that PSG Talon are the bloodiest of teams in the PCS as well. This is kind of what we came to expect running into our previous Worlds team in the head-to-head.
Yeah, this is kind of the trademark of the new age PSG in that they are very willing to take things quite slow early on. It's a very Korean-esque play style, and then really just play the macro game when it comes to the mid game. However, at the same time, it plays pretty comfortably into what Beyond also want to do, right? And that is extend lane phase as long as possible, accumulate lane leads, and when that first team fight happens, that's when they start to pop off. Now, will PSG give them that first team fight remains to be seen.
It's a good question, right? Because we've got Dragon up and available. Herald's coming up in 5 seconds too. And for now, both junglers not really giving away anything apart from the bot side as Unified and Kaiwing just do it from a different angle. Wako flash and cleanse away. They are persistent.
Just keep hiding in the bush. Eventually, they will try and face check you, and that's what happens there. And Unified, he is out to a very explosive lead at the moment. But remember that he also did... Okay, Juhan... Okay. Just kidding. He did spec into the Doran's Blade, so he is sinking gold value into winning the lanes. So that is just something to keep track of. While he has a pretty sizable gold advantage, some of that thrown into the Doran's Blade.
Okay, well, Juhan's going to start off the Rift Herald. Hanabi is getting a bit more priority up in this top side. Damage against Liang is mounting a bit, but there is a Vampiric Scepter here for the top laner. While PSG start this little Herald, there's no contest for Beyond Gaming, so that 1k gold lead that they accrued from the first blood through, you know, some of the CS, mid, top, not going to mean as much as PSG will be able to open up one of these lanes, but it looks like PSG committed their bottom lane, so Wako's able to push in bot and get a turret in response.
Yeah, gets one turret plate for himself, so still, PSG could potentially come out on the trade. At the very least, though, Wako gets himself that extra little bit of gold. And remember, it's all about the scaling factor when you are playing the Kaisa, as long as you're not too far behind. As Hanabi is going for a very spicy approach.
And he's got needlework as well. The angle there, the quick draw out. Needlework number 2 misses. Onto Liang, he needs the snip again. Hanabi solo kill denied by the flash, but Juhan wants blood to spill. But Liang's already out of there. Both summoners burnt. He'll take a turret shot for good measure. but the lane now opened up until Husha has something to say.
Husha still hanging around here, and it doesn't look like they want to throw down the Rift Herald to try and get Hanabi some plates here, which, you know, given where that wave was, or where his wave was, it would have taken a little bit of time to get there. Decides to use the Empowered Recall and look for a better opportunity elsewhere. If you're looking for a clear target, it has to be this Aphelios. Aphelios can do so much work in this game, given that it is pretty short range, right? You have a Graves, you have a Viego, you also have the Kai'Sa, and until she becomes that full AP Kai'Sa, very short range AD carry.
Nice. But I love what Beyond Gaming are doing here. They're getting ahead of the play. It's Husha and Liang pushing up topside. Liang has TP to follow through as well. At least getting some kind of trade while Juhan, now further what you're talking about, put the Herald down in front of the Aphelios. This will be first Turret Blood given over. At least able to push out top wave. Husha now heading towards bottom, but it's a little bit too late. So PSG still going to be ahead in the gold value as even Bait comes down to the bottom lane. Minji spotted out as well, and PSG trying to keep it going forward. But that's going to rely on a lot more resources here for now. PSG have to be careful. The Solar Flare flies through the Shadow Surge as well. Two ultis in front of Dragon. I don't rate that one. Kino into a wall, force the flash, but the kick flash on the back line might just be as good. Juhan getting a kill and Kino getting low. Who needs ultis when you have Unified ahead in the game? Juhan with a double, and now with the resets available, Husha wants to try it out. The Sonic Wave.
Oh wait, that's
turns
two.
to Resonating Strike with a double over to Wako. It's 2 versus 1 though. Bay without the Shadow Surge, but he has flash available. He's going to be able to get Doom and a bit of Gloom. On top of that, the Electrocute helps out Spell It to Wako as he's not but getting close to. Wako running up the river. It's still a chase with the flash from Bay. Zenith Blade. Blood reigns in the PCS with 7 kills in the span of a short amount of time.
An explosion of kills happening in that bottom lane. PSG, they're the ones to come out ahead, but still not that terrible of a result for BYG because you get this Kai'Sa really accelerated on that AP build. But at the very least, PSG, they start to crack the map open. You're starting to gain some tempo here as that bot side completely broken open. Now you can move your bot lane elsewhere.
Well, I mean, Unified's going to sit mid and absorb a lot of the CS. And it's replay time here, Nightstar. And, you know, it was bloody. And PSG, even after burning a couple of ults early, still went in for it.
Yeah, the start of this play was certainly not it. But Minji coming over the wall, or trying to come over the wall, also not it, as he instantly gets one shot. Kino pretty much left for dead in that fashion. But the damage coming in from Wako ends up finding that first kill, which buys extra time because Viego does get that reset, gets a small heal, which is enough for Wako to get his second kill.
And now we're back to the topic that was at hand before that first fight, which was Dragon still there. It's 13 minutes into the game. Dragon hasn't been started. And Beyond Gaming grouping around mid, but PSG still not committing to the play. They're hovering around, and it's amazing to see both these teams still just want to fight so early on.
PSG taking a different approach here, willing to scrap a little bit more. Of course, these champions are going to facilitate that a little bit better here. And they will also secure themselves the first dragon. It's pretty late first dragon at 13 and a half minutes.
But there's a needlework available. Hanabi's going to get the slow down. Solar Flare perfectly landed. The healing from the final needlework. It's snipping time. Hanabi gets the attention finally from the 2v2 from bot, and PSG want to elevate their gold across the map.
And this is where we've seen Beyond struggle, right? It's about understanding where they need to be on the map. The rest of Beyond Gaming say, right, we're looking to play around Rift Herald, but Beyond didn't catch the memo and understand that if they're playing for Rift Herald, that also means PSG is looking to try and play around Rift Herald as well, and just unable to get out fast enough, and pays with it with his life. So he is onto a shield bow build. So he's looking for extra staying power. He's saying that I'm going to be able to auto attack more than enough in this matchup.
Yeah, we've seen some Graves move away from things like Hullbreaker as well. Shield bow still amongst that, but You know, last game, we didn't see a hull breaker up in the top lane from Graves, so it was like a bit of a different direction here. At the very least, more team fighting oriented. And especially since what we've seen so far, that makes sense. Side lanes are just clear out, and especially as we get towards the mid-game, feel like they're going to be push out and move. Husha grouping up. That Herald you're talking about, Nightstar, has spawned. And BYG, they want to go over the wall. Juhan about to get Hex flashed on, but over follows Minji. The depth charge, a Shadow Surge in response in a choke. Unified's ulti brings it all back. Wako's low. Husha is not really Husha. Or maybe he is. He's just not Juhan. PSG, nevertheless, they're going to lose their jungler, but they take Minji with them.
It will be the 1-for-1 trade here. And not a whole lot besides that. Rift Herald did spawn, but because of the fact they lost Juhan in that play, they aren't able to turn for it immediately. So it looks like we're going to get Take 2 coming in shortly as we see the replay. The pick comes down on an attempt at either both Juhan and Wako. Juhan's the one to fall down. Unfortunately, though, Minji not in a good spot, and he just gets snapped up by the rest of the jaws of PSG.
And we come back to a gold lead still for PSG, but nothing that significant. Trailing behind 2,000 gold. Also, we've got a bounty on Unified after that last play. 20 CS lead for him, but balanced out by Minji CS lead in the mid lane. CS lead up in the top side. Everything even enough where there's no defining factor for this game right now. Objectives are late as well, and as the second Herald starts, we know that the second Herald's not going to be as devastating as the first one that opened up PSG for first turret blood.
Yeah, second Herald, we'll see what they're able to do here. Of course, there's tier 1s available on both mid and top lane.
Oh my god, we're fighting again. Kaiwing Everfrost with the charm as well. The Shadow Surge from Bay has not hit this game, as Husha once again solar flared, but he gets out with the unstoppable, the unbreakable, the heartbreaker. There we go, we got there. But it's just about tormenting for blood, and Beyond Gaming are the ones that keep looking for this fight. You love to see it when they feel so confident on this Ahri that now has an item.
Yeah, so much pick potential offered by this Beyond Gaming squad, right? You have a Nautilus, you have the Ahri, and the follow-up is also there, right? Because you have this Kaisa pick about to hit level 11, so that means she gets ranked 2 ult that increases your range by about 750. So it's a big spike in how far they can engage from, and definitely a bunch of burst damage to Kaisa. Now has, of course, the Blasting Wand in addition to that Man Immune, so getting close to the Nashers, that will help her cause if they want to try and fight. But again, Kaisa not looking to fight until she has 3 items. And everyone coming to the bot lane now. Or at Kaiwing.
Might be caught out. Kinner with the auto attack, the charm. Max range not going to hit, but it's in front of Dragon. 15 seconds till it spawns, and Beyond still on the hunt. What is a side lane here for this team? Normally we talk about Beyond Gaming being the team that plays the 1-3-1. Beyond Gaming focused on their solo lanes. This time around, it's just Beyond, and it's 4 or 5 members at any given time.
Oh, it's just them death falling non-stop here and trying to dig out a pick. This is only the second dragon.
Solar Flare got him. We need the Shadow Surge to come through, but again,
another
it misses
whiff
from Bay. Charm onto Kaiwing. Hanabi's now joined in, but look at the flank. Liang will shortly be there. Beyond Gaming are going to force Hanabi over the wall. Dragon will start, but Beyond are taking the inside track. Thank you for the mid turret, they shout.
Yeah, I feel like for Beyond Gaming, they're very comfortable in just trying to continue to search for picks.
Oh, it's not there. Okay, they're onto Kaiwing, but he goes golden. Bay, remember, doesn't have the ulti here as Unified holds the backline. It only hits Wako and Husha as the Everfrost buys a bit of time. The depth charge into Unified again. 5 versus 5 in the mid lane. We continue to A-round, boys. Kino wants that dredge line. You can see it on his face. This guy wants to kill people. As PSG clear the wave, and we stop the death threats for now.
Action just keeps coming back to this mid lane Hysterics, but For the side of PSG, they at least secure themselves a second dragon and also stave off that push coming into the mid lane. But for BYG, you do have that ticking time bomb of the AP Kai'Sa, right? And it was such a late first dragon that you're going to be able to hit that 3-item mark sooner rather than later when it comes to the rest of the game script. There's no dragon soul to be threatened coming up in 4 minutes. That's only going to be the 3rd dragon. If you let that one go, you're perfectly fine. And once that 4th dragon comes along, you've got Mythic Kai'Sa online.
And let's also talk about the opponents that she's going into, right? We've got bruises on PSG. We don't have fortified tanks unless it's Kaiwing towards late game. So it's PSG Solar Flare through mid again. Kaiwing
They're missing all their skill shots.
Well, they've got the Herald though to fix that up. So it's going to be okay here for PSG. Turret goes down nevertheless. And it's back to a 2k gold mark. Herald is no longer, of course, as she dies. Remember that Baron is up and available. Minji on a side lane. Finally, Beyond Gaming playing to some of their strengths. And it looks like for now, PSG just open up mid to clear away some vision. So not as much blood as there has been action, but things have settled down and we've started playing a bit smarter, it seems, Nightstar.
I mean, the tensions are still high, right? Because a fight could just break out any moment, especially with the range of engage coming in from both squads, right? You have the follow-up coming in from a Kai'Sa, but at the same time, for PSG, you can always just find a pick with that Shadow Surge and that ultimate coming in from the Leona. But unfortunately, both of these skill shots have really just whiffed completely coming in from PSG. And I mean, you definitely would not say that about Kaiwing. Usually he's pretty sure-handed, but so far, not finding his mark.
No, he's not. Again, we're just going to wait till these fights come through. The later objective in 2 minutes here in the Dragon. The Baron's still there. PSG are lulling them in as well. And for Beyond Gaming, after moving to the side lanes, now the pings are coming back down. Help us around Baron. There's only a deep ward here, or rather shallow, on BYG's turf. That is a control ward in that brush. Minji not doing too much damage to Kaiwing at this point. But we're just going to wait and see what happens from here on in. Damage starting to build up. It's nice to see from Wako, the most fed member on Beyond Gaming, hitting these Ws. Always means a good thing.
Yeah, very close to his Muramana spike, so it's possible that they look to try and take a fight here. But at the same time, PSG onto items are incredibly dangerous. They have the sustain coming in from the Bloodthirster on to Philios, but they also have the Death's Dance completed by Juhan. So a lot of durability in these fights at the moment. But again, once these AP carries do come online, Death's Dance doesn't give you any magic resistance. So he will get chunked out by the poke damage coming in from Ahri and Kai'Sa.
True. 2 AP threats. Again, Kai'Sa with all 3 upgrades coming through with the regular build at this point. We wanted to see if he sells the lethality. Again, a lot of pros have been selling the Serrated Dirt because it is just for the early upgrade. We get towards late game, and then that spot's filled by something else as we saw a couple of games ago. But, you know, further on to what we're going to see. 45 seconds to Dragon. PSG already with 2. You talked about Wako getting items. He has the Nashes now. He is 2.5 items strong.
Yep.
I also want to note that Liang has the Mortal Reminder up in that top lane. So we do have a 2-item Graves who can teamfight, who can reposition, but has to go into Hanabi, who has the same level of items here on the Quen.
Yeah, Liang. Tempting fate there, but Kaiwing misses out on yet another skill shot.
Solar Flare, okay. Kaiwing is just deciding to throw
an imposter?
Up in the air. Not too sure. Again, Kaiwing in the last game for PSG Talon was looking pretty imposter-like as well. W connects onto Juhan. 2 seconds to wait as Minji goes in for the Everfrost the Charm. Onto the support, but Hanabi running forward. Look at this Quen at level 15. Liang even forced over the wall. Holty from Unified, a bit of a whiff, but Juhan's kick. Oh my god! With the Shadow Surge, PSG Talon. It's Reset City. Wako getting destroyed on the back line, and that is the most beautiful combo out of our new members of PSG.
Oh man, Juhan just says, hey, Bait, you can't hit an ultimate, let me just guide it to you. So he just kicks and lines it up for Bait to knock it down, and knock it down he did. Finds the 2-man ult, finds the two-man Shadow Surge, and really, PSG blows the game wide open with that play. They get themselves a third dragon. Now they turn their attention over to the Baron buff. This should come into their hands unless Fusha has a little bit of magic. We've already seen 2 steals.
Okay,
that's a good start.
Walker's got one with the snipe. They might have to turn on
Teleport
Husha,
coming
but Hanabi
in.
helping out the TP
That's
a little bit late. Husha has his ult. He can get over
Ninji's
the wall
here.
at 2K. They want to flip it though. Look at the Baron.
Wait,
Everyone's out of
they
there.
left the
Beyond
Baron.
Gaming are back on it. Juhan can't get back in. PSG just leashed the Baron for Beyond. They've taken down Hanabi. Minji's out. PSG have burger flipped, but they've dropped the burger on the ground.
I don't know what just happened. Does that count as a steal?
That definitely counts as a steal. Husha just walked in. They kept the aggro up, and now gold
they
is
gift
even.
wrapped that one. We're going to see
did.
the replay of the disastrous fight, or the really perfectly lined up fight coming in from PSG, and it looks so ugly because Kaiwing misses out on all his skill shots. Beyond Gaming, they start getting confident in themselves, right? Because that's the engage gone. Minji goes in, finds the lockdown onto Kaiwing. They put a lot of damage down, but he's still Leona with W. So he's able to stay alive long enough, and boom! That's the kick. That's the two-man Shadow Surge because Husha is able to flash out, but the chase is on essentially from there, and they find that turn towards the Baron, but you just don't do it fast enough. It's early in the game.
Wrong guns here for Unified. If Unified has red and white, if Unified has anything other than Gravitum, it just feels like this goes down a lot faster. So unfortunate, especially when they all decide to get Minji in the backline. Everyone's like, okay, boys, get out.
Killing him.
And the Baron's still aggroed.
So, someone forgot the Baron.
Okie dokie. Well,
Uh-oh.
Beyond Gaming are back in the game. Not only that, they have the Baron with the comp that's now very much poking down PSG. Wako in a great position. It is third dragon for PSG, but look at the gold that Beyond Gaming got off of this. 3,500, and these turrets are melting.
Yeah, and now Wako has been really just given all the power here in this game now.
Walk in. Kaiwing. Hang on. Charm, Everfrost. Don't have enough burst damage, so maybe it was overcalling that one. But Liang, that's what I'm talking about in the side lane, even without the whole breaker, this Graves is level 17. And putting on a show as the rest of Beyond are going to group up towards mid. This Baron power play now, 4,500. Beyond it being gift wrapped, not only that Baron as before you said, but the game itself.
Yeah, this game is definitely back into question. It looked like PSG had full control of it, but that... Okay, Juhan, you might be out in no man's land. He is 4 levels down. He got the red buff, though.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Indeed. That's what you want. That's worth it here. All right, Baron expiring. Now, 1:30 till Dragon Soul. This is where PSG... This is where they come back into the game. We're looking at player levels on the side. Kind of interesting here, considering that, you know, Hanabi and Liang, what a surprise, the top players are the highest level in this game.
It's because we had so much A-ramming. Hysterics.
That's right. That's right. Little side laning, some semblance of an A-ram for about 5-6 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we had a big fight, which looked amazing for PSG, and then the Baron didn't look amazing for PSG. Again, the dichotomy of this team. Fun to watch the new PSG, I'd say. Yeah,
and I mean, that is a bit of their weakness, right? That sometimes in these team fights, they can mis-execute. But now, it's all about this next dragon. As Wako will be the key member to keep watch of. Can he land enough of these Kaisa Ws? If it lands on Unified, he can neutralize the damage as long as he has a wave. But against everyone else, it's going to have max value.
But remember, when he misses W, Wako's on a longer cooldown.
Yes.
Every time he misses it, the threat neutralizes itself because of that cooldown value. Hits Juhan, 2 seconds. Next W coming through, misses. Longer cooldown coming through. Beyond Gaming, though, getting
They are
forced into a
pitched.
choke. Now Liang slow here with the Solar Flare coming through. The
Oh,
Shadow Surge
whip.
not connecting. But again, the kick comes through. Juhan trying to bring this game into fruition as Wako gets the jungler. PSG has split as Liang enters stage right. Unified poking them back, though. He has Crescendo, he has Calibrum, he has range. Minji's over the wall with the Shadow Surge and Flash. PSG are low in front of the Soul. This is so risky without a jungler. They might just have to give it up as W's are flying left, right, and center. Liang stepping up again. Crescendo once more, but Faye fears as Hanabi spotted out. The Gwen without ulti still scary.
Oh, they just need to reset this fight for Beyond Gaming. They don't need to force it, but they're going to be the ones to aggro the dragon. Teleport's available on all of these solo laners.
They want to buy time. They want to buy time for Juhan, but he's not going to get there in time. He's still dead as it is Beyond Gaming who pick it up. Instead for Hanabi to come back in. Beyond are playing safe. Dragon denied. And for PSG, Juhan tried so hard to get into the backline, but once again, Beyond Gaming just have so many tools to stop it.
Yeah, now is a bit of the drawback coming in from this Lee Sin pick, even though he found the kick onto Wako. Because there wasn't enough follow-up burst damage, Wako was able to use his Kaisa ult to get himself to safety. And it just comes down to landing a skill shot from that Shadow Surge, right? The one fight that they found Shadow Surge, instantly, game over. That was just a fight for PSG, but all these other fights, they've been struggling to find that one.
Oh, Hanabi, look at Hanabi. Solar Flare comes through. First Needlework,
Kyling's
second
almost
one
dead.
lining down two members. Minji running for his life. The Needlework not connecting though.
Missiles
So Beyond
firing.
could get away. But PSG, I mean, the reason they're starting this is because Baron's up. They want to force Beyond nearby. But unfortunately, health bars are still healthy enough where Beyond don't have to risk backing.
Kyling didn't even get a chance to try and force the fight. He eats 2 or 3 Kaisa W's and instantly he's at 20% HP. He cannot continue the fight, and that's why PSG, they end up peeling off of that objective. Just say, all right, we just have to reset now. Now, the side of Beyond Gaming, they're going to get the vision control in that Baron area. Can they force a pick, though? That is the real question. It is still somewhat difficult for PSG to try and face check. They have some skill shots, but...
Well, it's a giveaway when Wako is in the brush pressing W. As Hanabi there, Shadow Surge missing again. On top of Liang, the Needlework back up to Velv. Juhan looking for the kick flash. On the top side, he gets a 3-man. Solar Flare again as Bay becomes a killing spree magnet as Hanabi lines down his final Needlework, hurting Liang. But Minji, Kino, both down. PSG with the numbers advantage.
I've seen this scene
time
before.
Can they do the Baron? But last time, Wako was able to find the picks, the W's hitting.
I've seen
Unified
this
next
before.
up. Let's see how we go. Husha has flash. He has ulti available. The Scrying Orb in the back giving vision.
Yeah,
PSG still a 5-man unit. Faye not getting hit. He goes golden. This is so shaky. Wako's hitting. W's the ulti, not a steal. Husha gets out of the back line. PSG do it right with the burger flip this time. But a W still takes down Faye while Liang attracts attention. Unified the next one.
Can they
Wako
get out?
trying so hard. Somebody please block for him.
Unified able to get to the wave with this BT. He will be able to heal up all the way to full, and he has become the tank for his squad. But Beyond Gaming keeping things on the knife's edge. PSG will be able to capitalize and get themselves that Baron buff and a much needed Baron buff, but will that be enough of an advantage to win this dragon fight, Hysterics? That's the question, because it is still a Void Staff probably completed on the next back, and they have 90 seconds to try and finish some of these next items.
Void Staff completed, as you said, 4 items here on Wako already hurting out. And I questioned you before, like, PSG's targets, the Vex, the Aphelios, and even Hanabi to an extent, are doing so much damage at this point in the game. I like the Banshee's Veil here from Hanabi. The threat, very obvious for PSG, and at this point, a Hex Drinker turns into a more Mortius for Juhan as well. We're getting towards those 4 items across the board. Even for Liang, who has been rather quiet, but still a very big deal. That's a 4-item Graves with Lord Dominic's Regard. He's level 18. Hanabi just picked up picked up his magic book as well.
Yeah, he has the heal cut coming in from the
Morello
Morello now.
Yep.
I actually would have liked to see Spirit Visage come out from him because it amplifies his own healing instead of the Banshee's Veil, and also gives them that magic resistance. We'll see what the setup is coming in. Beyond, they would love to find a pick to try and slow down this Baron push, but for PSG, it's about getting priority and then rotating with that extra control over to this next dragon. But fight lines being drawn out here. Juhan trying to bait any sort of cooldowns.
I mean, Kaiwing just throws out Solar Flare willy-nilly and has been. But Hanabi running into
Very far ahead.
Husha. Gwen is immune for the time being, so W means nothing from Wako. And he's feeling confident. He's that far ahead. Juhan still zoning out towards mid. Beyond Gaming are trying to threaten the inside push, but hang on a minute. This is Soul.
Just burn.
PSG
can burn
take
Soul.
this so quickly. Infernal Soul given over. Beyond Gaming are moving into River as well. Juhan saving out as Kino might be caught out. The flash away from the Solar Flare while Hanabi is dealing with Husha. Infernal Soul again is scary as Kaiwing gets the engage. Juhan on another angle, and Bay wants the Shadow Surge. Beyond Gaming may have thrown it all away as Depth Charge turns into a root, turns into a kill.
It's 1 for 1.
PSG with 1, and it's traded off as Kaiwing dies. The poke from Wako still hurting, but they got what they came for with the Infernal Soul getting locked down.
Oh, man. And PSG, they really just maneuvered that fight a lot better than BYG. Side of Beyond Gaming, they didn't quite get into the Baron or the Dragon area fast enough, and PSG just beat him to the punch. So now, a lot more extra power for PSG. This gold difference is not quite the whole story because of those extra stats coming in from the Dragons. But for Beyond Gaming, you can see, even though PSG are finding the fights, it's not that convincing, and part of that is just how much damage Wako is putting out. Soon he's going to be level 16, has even more range with his ultimate, so PSG have to be careful of that situation and possibly getting assassinated. And you can see Unified, he understands, like, I have to build super defensive here because of the pick power coming in from BYG.
I mean, it's defensive on a new level. Bloodthirster, GA, that's going to be a more of Mount Mortius.
Yeah.
All aspects covered for the PSG 80 carry. But to be fair, it's been working. Less damage being done here from Wako. And as we look at PSG grouping up with Infernal Soul, they want to fight. Liang walking forward, trying to threaten Juhan from walking back. And oh my god, that's a bruiser. That is a bruiser, and Wako still hurts now with a needlessly large rock.
Yeah, and that's also a Maul with Merc Tread, so it's not like he doesn't have any magic resistance. He is packing a decent amount. It's just not in comparison to the Void Staff and all the raw damage already output by Wako with his item. So this is by no means an easy game to close out for the side of PSG. And it again comes down to if they land Shadow Surge, they can win these fights. But Liang out in no man's land.
Could be big with Baron coming up 50 seconds. The kick against the wall. He flashes away. Sonic Wave is there, but the dive still commencing. Juhan taking up for now. Hanabi, he will find the kill, and he will not drop for it as well. But look, the whole team's coming down. PSG, I'm not sure how far ahead they thought they have teleport. He has teleport. He has teleport. Wako can't press W because he's in the Gwen W. Oh my god, how is that balanced?
Gwen is immune. I think I just heard a bunch of pings onto the teleport of Hanabi. But even if you know it, he's going to be teleporting, they couldn't do a single thing. So now he has the Zanya's Hourglass. A lot of durability, a lot of time after that mist goes down, he can just go invulnerable. So well, I mean, if he wasn't immune enough.
The biggest thing here is that pick meant so much because Liang's not up for another 10 seconds. Might have TP, but Hanabi is there making a 5 versus 4. Bay on the wing, Baron going down. No steal with Husha in the back of the pit. He's out once again as Minji gets the Neverfrost to buy time. But look on the backside, Kino caught out. The Soul Flare only just missing. Shadow Surge. Good dodge from Wako to get out of there. From PSG, that pick was actually huge 5-head to get them that Baron.
Yeah, Liang getting caught out there. He could get caught again.
Again, he's just respawned the kick away from Juhan, gets him to safety instead, but the turret still goes down. PSG to lock in first. This game means everything. Will they be the best PCS team right now as they push towards the supportless base, opening up the inhib? Right now, it feels like that's a big lead. Wako going into Bay. That was massive. Liang with the ulti, but it's missed time. Bay flashing away the W's again, getting fired out from Wako. He's low on mana, but he needs Bay to die. Husha with the ulti, not up and available. Bay running away the W again. Sidestep here from the new mid laner, but Hanabi's low. Here we go, Sonic Wave again. Juhan running into the backline, the ult from Unified massive. Shadow Surge big, but Beyond Gaming are losing a health bar. Look at Unified running through as Husha has taken away the Gwen. Well, that teleport here from Bay, he needs to do quite a lot. Get the fear onto Kino, the Everfrost as well, but PSG are not healthy. Hanabi's dead, and it's janky to say the least.
Oh, okay, so PSG, they lose Hanabi, but minute left on to the Elder Dragon, so he will be back in time for that. We'll have to walk all the way, though, as he doesn't have the teleport. And for Beyond Gaming, they continue to hold on for dear life. Hysterics, and it's on the back of Wako. This man, this is why we see the tantalizing power of Kaisa, because she can sort of 1v9 at this point in the game. It's just she needs the time to do it. And right now, PSG aren't necessarily giving Beyond Gaming that time, as they just try and instigate fights as soon as possible. But if they aren't able to instantly blast them out of the fight, then things get ugly. But it almost looked real bad for Beyond Gaming because of the fact, well, Wako, their one carry, ran out of mana.
It ain't clean, that's for sure. It's definitely not clean for either team as Hanabi caught out. Depth charge in front of 3 people. There's an Everfrost there. It tags it down. But Shadow Surge in.
Wako!
That'll bring it back. Bay with a massive play, but Wako, you're right, has done the same. Kaiwin found Liang on the backside of Soul Flare. Doesn't go through Nordis. Is then to play the kick back. Juhan brings it all rampaging forward. PSG still win out. It's 2-for-1 in front of Elder. Let's begin the bloodshed again.
Oh, can they take this dragon? That's the question here. Liang has the teleport if he wants to come in from a different angle, but just walk on in.
Kino gonna do? That's the question. I mean, Kino doesn't have ulti. He's got no health bar. As the ward gets placed down, it's all up to Wako here. Liang on the back burner as well. No collateral damage. Beyond can't steal this. They have to disappear, and Elder's gonna go down. This has been such a messy game, but I'm all for it. With 29 kills in PSG, now with Infernal Soul, that matches their Elder just picked up. This game, I'm not sure there's an outcome yet, but it's still feeling PSG favored to take the first slot in the PCS.
It is still favored towards PSG, but the margins are still so slim. And we're coming on to really 6 items for everyone. So the only advantage PSG has is going to be the extra stats coming in from those extra dragons, and currently the Elder Dragon buff. But BYG are able to wait this out, if they are able to stall out the Elder Dragon, once again, it would then come down to almost a 50-50 fight.
I mean, they've been so bloodthirsty though, and you know that PSG are going to keep forcing this in. Dodging away from the W's of Wako, that's the first step. Juhan with the Sonic Wave, he's not going to follow through. Bay's on the back burner, you know that Shadow Surge is coming out if Beyond Gaming step too far forward. Be careful of Beyond. Liang steps forward himself, and PSG are just backing out of the base. This is still not the final stand. PSG still scared, waiting for all the waves to come through, and that's why Hanabi's setting up top as well.
Yeah, they're going to push mid in while they try and get that top wave crashed, and really watch for Minji to try and be the one to start off the pick, dash in with the ultimate, use the Everfrost to try and lock down a target with the charm, and then have Kino follow up. Oh my lord!
Yeah, Wako again, Wako again! That W coming through from Bay, that wouldn't have saved him. It's good that he sidesteps. That is the threat of Wako. You said give them time. Beyond Gaming have time in their base, and Wako now has a Rabadon's death cap. He's full build. Yeah. I would be so scared. And the fact that PSG with Elder haven't been able to end this game is just insane.
Yeah, it's a testament to BYG being able to stall things out. Also, like PSG, they've been somewhat conservative when it comes to trying to end the game, right? They are very much more of the 80-20 or the 90-10 sort of team. When it becomes more of a 60-40 prospect, that's when they kind of struggle to just go ahead and just flip, force the play. And now they're trying to go into yet another
Baron 3.
Baron.
Baron 3. Dude, I don't know what's going on. In the longest PCS game of the split, I still don't know how this is going to end up. Baron going to be taken, but it won't be enough for PSG. Only the fight needs to come through as Shadow Surge in the backline. Kino caught out again. The fear comes through. And there we go for Bay again. He gets a reset onto Liang. He follows through. Finally, is this it? Beyond Gaming getting hit at every angle. Husha running for his life as PSG are bringing the cavalry. The poke won't be enough. It's Husha who dies while Hanabi forces Minji out of the play. Wako left alive, and PSG, surely now you can end this long game as Unified is sick of playing it, running forward, baits in Wako. The best team of the PCS will lock in first. It's PSG Talent, who are the best across the board in a 46-minute slug. I won't be forgetting this anytime soon.
Oh my god, that was like a boxing match that went the distance as just blow after blow, but PSG couldn't find the knockout until the last round. It took the third Baron to finish them off, but PSG, they locked themselves that first seed.
That was a literal barn burner, the longest match in PCS this split, 47 minutes. And you know, let's give it its full credit. It was bloodthirsty, it was limit testing, but it was also incredibly back and forth, and I think that as a negative.
I mean, for the side of Beyond Gaming, like, they did what they needed to extend that game, right? And for PSG, they just didn't have the means to straight up end the game because they missed so many skill shots. If they landed a lot more of those Shadow Surges or Leona ultimates, that game could have just been done 10 minutes ago. Like, this game could have just ended at 30 minutes. Because of the snowball potential. So for the side of PSG, mechanics letting them down ever so slightly in the mid game, but so much veteran presence in this squad, you know they have that late game.
Yeah, 100%. Look, but again, the fact they couldn't end with Elder, the fact they took 3 Barons, like, this was a wild ride. Well, I mean, I'm not sure about that. I feel like that game goes beyond playstyle. And for PSG, there's a lot of things to shore up. They are still the best team. However, there's a lot that needs to be changed in playoffs, and we have to kind of see, like, Bay and Juhan both have amazing players and both can be questioned in the same regard. And it feels like these new additions are still working their way into the roster. It's still not the same as, you know, having the PSG talent that was River, that was Maple, that went to the world stage last year, and that was like, wow, this team is incredible. They're great in so many ways. PSG need to work back up to that, and I think that's what the PCS playoffs will be great for, especially now that they've locked in first, and they will undoubtedly be the best team in there.
Yeah, certainly the most dangerous squad in the playoff bracket. They will start out in the second round. That means they only need to win 1 series to make it into the winners finals, and that just makes their road to MSI that much shorter if they are able to clear that first hurdle. And for the side of Beyond Gaming, a lot of ramifications from that loss. Right now it's going to be them trying to contend and hope that the chips fall in a manner that they can then contest for the 3rd seed. So things not completely over for them. But now you're kind of stuck facing your CFO or a DCG in that first round.
I mean, DCG are versing Sem9, so let's be realistic. DCG probably going to be the ones who get 3rd seed, or at least contend with CDBC Flying Oyster. Beyond Gaming, they're going to be 5th. They're going to be 4th or 5th at this point. So it's unfortunate, but there was a lot of ways we saw this game winnable. The damage on Wako tells you why. Hanabi tells you why they didn't. This Gwen, very aggressive, and Hanabi, a well-deserved MVP who I think was one of the most solid players in that game for PSG Talent.
Yeah, and he was able to take advantage of that top lane matchup, right? It was a blind pick on blind pick Graves. He goes ahead, locks himself in the Gwen, and he really just ran away with a lot of team fights. The side of Beyond Gaming weren't able to lock in the Gwen for themselves because they really wanted to play the AP Kai'Sa. That means you would have triple AP. That's just really, really difficult to play the game with. So they go for the Graves, and Hanabi, like in the past, we would criticize that he's essentially just a weak side top laner. Now he's really coming into form this split.
Yeah, he is. Again, top lane matchup was a focus here today. Liang versus Hanabi. It was a nice little matchup for some part of the early game, but after we left them for a bit, it was the influence of Hanabi on the Gwen that again reigns true. PSG with a win, securing 1st, and today, it wasn't too unexpected, right? Like MFT with a win early. Impunity versus Frank Esports was the biggest question mark, and Impunity kind of showed up a bit, but everything else kind of played out like the standings would indicate.
Yeah, the J-Team DCG game, of course, was very tight in standings, but J-Team really running away with that one, and it's just a shift of just form, right? And this is a bad time to go cold for DCG because it is playoff crunch time.
It is. Again, we are on the penultimate day here today, and now that that's over, only one PCS day left to go. Tomorrow is it. And with PSG already locking in 1st, it's about now how high they can soar. As tomorrow, they'll have a chance to... Who are they versing tomorrow? Hurricane Gaming. That's it.
Yes.
They get to keep Hurricane Gaming from getting another win. That's unfortunate. I think the biggest thing for me is that, that battle for 2nd is still up for grabs. J-Team looking like a good candidate right now. They have to beat Impunity. And if they can do that, if J-Team beat Impunity tomorrow, there's your top 2. No one else can catch up if J-Team are on 14 wins, the same as PSG.
Yeah, and then it comes down to that 3rd seed. And 3rd seed is still very valuable because instead of playing a BYG in the first round, then you get to play against Frank Esports, which they have been able to upset DCG, but they also dropped games like we saw earlier against Impunity, and then also against MFT earlier. So this is a very hit or miss squad, so you would much rather have the 3rd seed over the 4th or 5th.
Yeah, you would indeed, right? Like, it's all about placements within playoffs. Our last game tomorrow, the PCS regular season, already towards the end. And, I feel like it has been a much more competitive split. I feel like overall, PCS always felt like a 1 or a 2 team league, at least for the past year or so.
Yes.
This time around, there's a surprise CDBC Flying Oyster, Deep Cross Gaming with, a lot of notable names. Beyond Gaming as well. Like, even though they lost today, still a very honorable team. So, kind of curious here, but thank you again, Nightstar, as we wrap things up. Thank you to our English broadcast and everyone working hard behind the scenes. It's been great to be on the broadcast here for the regular season. It is bye for now, but not forever. See you tomorrow for the last day.